Hello, it's Peter and Sandra again in our third video about our upcoming Ancestral Alchemy Retreat in February 20th to the 25th of February next year. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about who this retreat was created for. Now, Sandra and I have been doing this work for many years, and we actually no longer advertise our services because we understand on a much deeper level that we are magnetic beings. So we know that these 7 women are already in our orbit. It might be you if you're watching this video, or it might be somebody you know, and if you had to share it with them, they get the immediate hit of yes, and take it, sign up and join us. So I think it's important to recognize that the universe always gets us to the exact place that we need to be. And it doesn't really matter how we stumble on that information. But when we do, it's about when we get that intuitive yes in our heart, to step forward. So when we were both feeling called to do this retreat, it wasn't a case of, well, then let's create a retreat and sell the 7 spaces. This was more about feeling the calling to open up sacred space for 7 women to do this work. And then we actually asked for more information about the 7 women, which Sandra's going to take you through now. And it's about, is this you? Or is this somebody you know? Okay, so Sandra, let me hand over to you.
Awesome. And it was really a beautiful process that we went through, really calling in these mature, conscious, and willing souls who are ready to step and own their ascension process. And we really called forth, all the benevolent beings of love and light to support us to begin to identify some of these women who are wanting and needing and seeking this type of transformation in their life. And so we pulled cards to allow us to see the representation of the souls that are being called into this circle. And one of them was called Trust the Season. And this woman is all about embracing the change, right? Who is ready to step into growth, the transition, who is wanting to see things differently in her life. She is open to it. She is really deepening into the trust of how her life needs to go and allowing it to ebb and flow effortlessly. And so this beautiful soul is trusting the seasons, right? Trusting that she knows what she is ready to step in and embrace in her life. The other sister that also came through was the sister of the sacred waters, right? The sister is looking for nourishment, replenishment, cells, like self-care, right? Really deepening into her health, right? Wondering, resting, um, knowing that it's time to put herself first. It's time for her to allow herself to be taken care of by beginning that process with herself. How is she taking care of herself? How is she nurturing herself? How is she nourishing and loving herself? All of this is for that beautiful soul of the trusted waters, right? The other sister that came through is the sacred unions. And this beautiful soul is really deepening more into her inner and outer relationships. What do they look like? What do they feel like? How does she want them to be, right? What are they now in reality, but how is she really seeking them? What does she really want them to look like in her life? And especially the relationships, the inner and the outer, her relationship to herself. How is she taking care and loving herself as well? Her beloved within, her soul, that deep connection that she also needs to embrace more effortlessly, lovingly, right? And as women, sometimes we forget, right, that we need to love ourselves deeply, truly, beyond anything on the planet, because everything begins and ends with us. The other sister is identified through the brothers of the rose. So this beautiful soul is trying to heal her sacred masculine, to feel what it's like to be held and protected and supported and honored by the masculine. What does her masculine look like? How is she moving through the world with the men in her life, right? Her fathers, her brothers, her friends, her family. And it's about also looking at the sacred masculine within herself. Like, how is she moving through the world? Is she more in the go, 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 be, do, do, do? Is it wounded? Is it needing forgiveness? Right? There's this beautiful coming together in sacred union with the masculine. And this soul is trying to heal those parts in her life, because she's going to want to look at and is looking at how has that shown up for her? How has she been taken care of? And how can she make it more loving versus trying to shun away from it? We have a beautiful soul who is healing the mother line, of course, our beloved mother. And it's like really doing the ancestral work, really healing the inner child, the mother, the grandmother, the great grandmother, all of the women in her line, like really embracing the matriarchy in her life, allowing her to deepen into that deep wisdom in that line, that healing, that forgiveness that is being wanting and seeking to come through. And really looking at how we how she, and some of us, all of us, will be looking at how our relationships are with our mothers. Do we have a relationship with our mothers? Is it loving? Is it toxic? What does it look like? And so this beautiful soul really is going to be deepening into this mother, this mothering, and how is she mothering herself and others at the same time. The other sacred soul is the anointed, right? This one is really being answered, right? Is being called to answer the call about the soul shifts, the soul gifts, the empowerment, the leadership. It's like stepping in and owning her truth, like her power, who she is, how she's moving through the world, using her voice to be seen and heard, how she is leading versus being, or maybe she is following, but she knows that deep within her there is this true leadership, this empowerment that comes through her and wants to continue to come through her. And so she is being called to answer the call. Like, now is the time. Now you need to own who you are. It's time for you to be on that stage and allow yourself to shine brightly so that everyone in the world can see you. And that soul is the one. And our last beautiful soul is releasing the petals. It's like a death and a rebirth. It is a deep shedding and changes in all of her life. It is like she is being reborn into her truest self, which is beautiful, because for me, retreats are like, all coming into this beautiful chrysalis, this cocoon that we're creating, where we're going through like a death, right? Where we become mush, letting all parts of ourselves go, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And then there's this rebirth, right? Like the butterfly, like coming back, moving through the transformations, really allowing ourselves to embrace all of this shift and change and alchemy. And then, right, spreading out our wings, right? Taking those leaps, right? This soul is all about releasing the petals, letting it all go and letting it all be, to emerge into a new, brighter, shiny, light-bodied, alchemized, aligned, beautiful woman that she is. And that, my friends, is the 7 beautiful souls that we are so excited to hold space for. Right, Peta?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you identify with any of those descriptions,
Those beautiful petals.
yeah, then maybe this is for you. Or perhaps somebody just jumps into your mind. Please share it with them. As I said earlier, we're well aware that these women are already in our orbit. We might not know them, but somehow they will receive the information, and then when they get a soul yes, the next step is to fill in the application form, which is on our websites, and then to apply to be part of the retreat. Now, what we will do is we'll go through the application process, where either Sandra or I will have a 30-minute free call with you to make sure that this is the right fit for you. You know, it doesn't serve anybody to not have like-minded women on a retreat. So we're very specific in terms of where each woman is in her journey, in her own healing journey, and that this is going to elevate her and assist her on every level. So that's the process. The application process, then a gathering of the 7 women, and then we'll take it from there. Now, in our next video, our last one in the series, we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual practicalities of this particular retreat. So pop along to that video and we'll see you there.